Hi, happy Friday. Carlos Suarez, broker of Black Swan Home Group. And City is back here with me again.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be back.
Nice to have you back, City. So, as an office, including City, we have been doing a lot of buyer pre-evaluations, right? We sit down with the buyer, we explain the process. Most of them have a lot of questions, and what we try to do is set the right expectations on what the buying process is, correct? So, what I want to discuss here with City is what are these things that may not necessarily be objections, but what are these things that the buyers or the people who have the motivation to buy, they're not sure about, and that is holding them back from buying a property. So here sitting with me, she just had a buyer's evaluation or pre-evaluation, whichever way you want to call it. And we want to discuss what were these things that you noticed from the buyer that maybe they truly didn't understand and that they had in their head that was going to prevent them from buying a property. But in reality, it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of buyers or potential buyers, they go by the word on the streets and they don't really know.
They don't have the cousin or
Yeah,
the primo or the something.
oh no, you need this and you need that. Oh, you need 20%. But no, I think one of the things that is most important that they don't know is like the down payment, how much is the monthly payment could be for. And those things really make them stop them from like taking that step to even a consultation.
Okay, this person that we talked about, the one you just did the evaluation for, they had in their mind that they need about 20% to buy a house, correct? Which is not always the case.
No.
So what options did they have when you talked to them? What could they be looking at if they're buying this house, which is a primary residence? This is for them to live in.
Well, they could do a FHA 3.5% down or a conventional 5% down. And then when I gave them the news, they were very happy about that.
Exactly, because look, if they're looking for a $500,000 property, I tell you, you need 20% down payment. That's $100,000 without counting your closing costs. Correct. You have to take that into account. But now, if I tell you that you could do that with an FHA loan, which is 3.5% down, that is what 17,500, 3.5 or 500,000. Now, on top of that, you need the closing cost, but it's a lot easier.
But it's a big difference when you can bring 100,000.
Exactly. So that's one of the many things. You have options, and we just have to see which is the best option for you. Maybe 20% is the best for you, but if you don't have that cash on hand, then you could do an FHA, you could do a conventional 5, 10, 15%. That is not necessarily that 20% that they look for. Important when it comes to the money. We had a situation not so long ago that they have cash. Cash doesn't count, right? So you need to have your money on your bank account. You may have a 401k, which with that you have to be careful because they may charge you some penalties. But it is important that you understand that there's options for you when it comes to how much money you need.
Oh, and I learned this while I was with the same clients that they only give you a small percent of your 401k, depends on your work. It's never the full amount because that's some other people think that they'll give you the full amount. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. They give you a percentage, so they were counting with that money, the down payment and all that stuff, and we learned that throughout the process.
Exactly. So that is important that you understand as well. Now, other than the cash, we talked and you said about the monthly payment.
Yes.
Did they have an idea how much their monthly payment would have been?
Well, they want a 3-bedroom for $3,000, a 4-bedroom property for $3,000. So I was like, so I feel that's another thing that we need to inform our buyers. It's like, what would it look like with the interest rate at the moment? How would their mortgage payment would affect them with the price of the property?
Exactly. And one of the problems people have is that before they talk to a professional like us and here in Black Swan, they start looking at houses online. Right? So they find a house they like and sometimes they go, oh, I love this $700,000 house. Yeah, are you gonna be happy with the $6,500 monthly payment without maybe 20% down?
Yep.
Okay, so you're doing things in reverse. Okay, look at the numbers first and then look at the house that you can buy with the numbers that you have. Don't fall in love with the house without knowing how much the monthly
That's
payment
why we do the pre-approval.
That's why we have the pre-approval process. That's why we have these buyer evaluations and we sit down and we explain these things for you.
Okay. No, and I feel like a lot of buyers don't know that they have to do the inspection, the appraisal, and they just think it's just liking the property, giving a down payment, and that's it. It's more than that. It takes time. They think that you could buy a home in like in a month. I had a renter that was like, "Oh, my lease is up. I want to buy it next month." I'm like, "How it works?" So
yeah, it's gonna be very challenging because you're gonna have to find a house that you like. You're gonna have to get a house under contract, and you're gonna have to then go through the buying process. So yeah,
and it's kind of that everything goes well with the credit and the down payment and everything goes. It's ready for them.
Exactly. So sit down with a professional first, somebody like City or me or anybody here at Black Swan will help you and truly understand the process, understand the numbers. There's options for you on the monthly payment. People put a lot of interest of attention to the interest. Is the interest important? Yes, of course it's important, right?
Yes.
Monthly difference with an interest from 3% and 6.5% is huge. But the reality is that you're not gonna get the 3%. Yeah, unfortunately, but you're not gonna see that again. Oh, I'm waiting for the interest to come down to 3%. Maybe not in your lifetime. Oh, but it went up. Yeah, it went up from 6.375 to 6.5. So it's not going to make a huge difference if the interest goes up 1.25 or if the cost of the interest goes up 1.25.
No, Carlos, and I feel like another objection, if you call it, is like, oh, my rent is like $3,000, but if I get a house, it's 4,000. But that's your own property. That's an investment that you're making. That in the long run you could sell and make double or triple what you paid for that property.
Correct. And we were having this conversation earlier today, and then what City brought up on what you said was this equity buildup that you have in the years to come is going to be so much more beneficial to you than the $200-300 that you're saving every month.
Every month, I agree.
Okay, so think of that. Whenever you're the homeowner, you're building wealth in the years to come. Yes, maybe right now your mortgage is $300 more than what your rent will be, but with the years to come, it will be very beneficial to you. And one last thing I want to tell you before we let them go is how being a homeowner, and this is something that you have experienced as well, it brings stability to your family. Okay, the city also does a lot of rents, right? And you have had people that you rented properties in this neighborhood, and then next year they're in a different neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, so it means different schools, it means different friends, it means a different life every time you move. When you have a house, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I feel like you change everybody's life. You have to change, like the driving now in Miami. It's risky changing far away just for rent when you can have your own property and be settled down.
Correct. So there's a lot of benefits of being a homeowner. Some of these objections that you have, they may have a solution that could help you actually move or make that move and be a homeowner, right? Because a lot of people stay stuck with let me pay rent, and not because they don't have the capability to buy.
No.
They just don't have that understanding of what they.
Yeah, they don't have the knowledge, and they're scared that they might be able to save as much money as they are right now. But what are you saving money for? Like, you need to invest and make that next step in your life.
Exactly. So you have any questions, you can contact us here at Black Swan Home Group. We can help you. We can answer any questions you may have, and then hopefully help you take that step.
And I feel also there's no little questions for us, because sometimes I feel like buyers or sellers are like, oh no, this question is too dumb. Let me not ask about that. And we're always going to give you the right answer.
Okay, so with that said, we're going to let you go. We're going to see you next Friday. Enjoy your weekend and have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.